Hey everybody, Adam here with Hometown Acres. Welcome back. So the other day we got hit with a tremendous amount of rain, and while it did do some damage to the pond and the grass that we just seeded, I actually think it was kind of a blessing in disguise because it showed us where our weak points are before we plug the dam and before the pond is full. So let me show you that footage now, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do to fix all of the issues that we realized we ran into. Stick around. So I came out here right as the rain was tapering off, and one of the best things that we did was running that flat roller on here. That rainwater was just rushing through here, and you would think with all of this loose exposed soil it would have washed all this away and rutted it out. Well, really this is just the same exact shape that it was before. So rolling that in really helped to minimize our soil erosion when we get a rain like that. Now the pipe down here, this is an 8-inch pipe, and you can see the bathwater marks right around the outside of that pipe. It was probably under 2 foot of water, just choking down as much as it could take. Now right in here we did get some wash effect, but I think most of this was just silt that was coming off the hill up there. I think the base that was here is still intact. It was just putting the silt down here and then washing through it. But yeah, that 8-inch pipe was choking down everything that it could handle, and it still wasn't enough. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is the need for an emergency overflow. That rainstorm that we had was 1.5 inches of rain in about 45 minutes. And that is not, not typical for our area. That's a rain that we get probably 3 or 4 times a summer. So for 99% of what we get, that 8-inch pipe will handle everything we need. But the emergency overflow is going to handle the storms like that. And then, say we get remnants of a hurricane that come up from the Gulf that just sit over top of us and park for 6 or 8 hours and drop 4, 5, 6 inches of rain. We do not want a once in a 100-year flood or once in a 500-year flood to come through here and wash out this dam. So let's talk about now what we're going to do for our emergency overflow so we don't ever have to worry about the pond being full and the standpipe not being able to handle that much water. So that standpipe we still have to cut down to water level. It'll be probably about 18 inches below the top of the dam. So that means our water level will be 18 inches below the top of that dam. Over here is where we're going to put the emergency spillway. You can see this is going to be virgin ground that runs right over here, and then it's going to run out the back side of the dam. And we're probably going to get an 18-inch culvert pipe to run from this side over to this side, and then it's going to run down around the back side of the dam to make sure any of that emergency overflow water does not start eroding out the back side of the dam. Now you always want to make sure that that is over virgin ground, because if it does start to wash near the outside of the pipe, you don't want it to start eroding your dam. If it's over virgin ground, it's pretty likely that it's very well compacted naturally over time and it's not going to erode out. Now for your standpipe, you have to put in an anti-seep collar because your standpipe runs through the bottom of the dam and there's millions of gallons of water sitting on top of that pipe, lots of weight and pressure trying to find any way that it can through the dam. And what it'll tend to do is want to ride the outside of that pipe through the dam. So that's why you need an anti-seep collar on your standpipe. However, your emergency overflow that's going to go through right here is going through the top of the dam. So there's no pressure on it. It basically, as soon as the water level finally rises up to it, it just starts hitting that pipe and goes out. So it's not pressurized at all. You don't have to worry about water trying to ride the outside of the pipe for your emergency overflow. Now, once we cut down our standpipe, it's going to be about 18 inches below the top of that dam, which means that our water level will be 18 inches below the top of that dam, which means that we technically have room for an excess of 18 inches of water in the pond if we get, you know, a once in a 100-year storm. But we don't ever want to be cutting it that close. So if that standpipe is going to be 18 inches from the bottom, or from the bottom of the top of the dam, we want to set our emergency overflow about 6 inches above that. So that would be about 12 inches from the top of the dam. So that means if the water level starts rising fast enough that 8-inch pipe can't handle the amount of water that's coming through, 6 inches above that, our emergency overflow will kick in and we'll start draining an 18-inch culvert pipe's worth of water all at once. Hopefully between the 8-inch and an 18-inch pipe, we should never have any more water than that would want to start breaching the top of the dam. The biggest thing you have to worry about is if water starts breaching the top of the dam, it's going to start eroding. And as soon as it starts eroding, the water is going to start rushing faster, it's going to erode more, and it's just a never-ending cycle, and your pond is going to be empty in a couple hours, if not faster. And that is going to be a lot of water that's going to cause some serious damage downhill. Another preventative measure that I want to take in addition to the emergency overflow is once we have this standpipe set 18 inches below the top of that dam, I want to cut it down another 12 inches and then create like a 12-inch riser that comes up off of that. Like this storm that just came through here, they were calling for heavy rains 3 days before the storm got here. So I knew well in advance that we were going to have some pretty heavy rainfall. So if this pond was full, what I'd do is I'd come out here, take that extra 12-inch riser off of there, and that would drain the pond down 12 inches. So I'd have room for an additional 12 inches of water over here, which is a lot of water when you calculate 12 inches deep over across the span of about a half acre. So that's just another thing that I can do to try to get ahead of any big storms they're going to roll through, would be to drain it down 12 inches, make room for that additional water, and then if it comes up 12 inches and then goes above the top of the standpipe, then it would hit the emergency overflow over there. So I think between those two preventative measures, we should be okay and be prepared for any amount of water that could come through here. So while this storm did cause us some issues, it washed away a lot of the grass seed that we just planted, it caused some erosion issues we'll have to go back in and fix, it's still a blessing in disguise because it showed us the power of the water while the pond was still empty. If this pond was full and we got a rain like that and we weren't prepared, it'd be a much bigger issue. But now we know where our weak points are, where we need to focus our attention, and really beef up some of our water runoff strategy here. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, give us a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.